So, does skin color impact my spirituality? As I said, that is a very racist question. The idea is to be always conscious that your physical self is just an outcrop of the land that you walk upon. Your mind is. So the important thing is your body and your mind should not become an impediment.
This question is from Isabel. Sadhguru, I heard you speaking about the impact of wearing clothes with different colors. Also, the monks in Isha and India wear orange as it helps in their spiritual journey. I want to ask a question if wearing certain colors can impact our spiritual growth. What is the impact of the color of the skin on our spiritual journey?
This is a racist question. Well, the monks in India don't wear orange clothes, they largely color their clothes with the soil, with red earth, because we want to exist here as understanding always, existentially understanding, experientially understanding that what my body is just an outcrop. So there is a tradition in India of going and meditating near anthills. In this part of the world, I have not seen anthills growing like this. Do you have? I have not seen any in this region. But in southern India, everywhere in the country, generally in the tropical country, the anthills grow like that, and people believe, or for a long time believed that this is a snake house. Because snakes go inside in search of some protein. Because the termites are super rich in protein. Because this whole thing that they build, they are mixing with their saliva, which is a very high-quality protein, very high-quality protein. They're mixing with the soil and they're building it that it withstands any kinds of monsoon, any kind of weather. Architecturally, it's fantastic, and in a way, our buildings are also in the Isha Yoga Center in India designed like a termite hill. I learnt engineering from them because I did go into the termite hills for various reasons myself. But it is said, some of the tunnels going up to 700 kilometers, a termite can locate water 700 kilometers away and go there, digging up a tunnel. A lot of people who don't have any water divining capabilities have this tendency to believe where there is a termite hill, there will be water, and they dig wells near a termite hill, but it could be 700 kilometers away. It's happened to quite a few people that they did not find any water. Sometimes it is. So, the idea is to be always conscious that your physical self is just an outcrop of the land that you walk upon. That's not of great significance. Keeping it well is important. Keeping it well is important not to flaunt to other people, But keeping it well is important so that it doesn't come in your way. It doesn't come in your way means, if your body becomes troublesome because of, let's say, some health issue, then 100% of your attention will be only on that body. Taking care of the body will be 100% of your time and life. So keeping the body in such a way, if you sit here, you're not even aware that it's here. Otherwise, the various compulsive cycles in the body will keep you busy all the time. Should have seen the initial arguments when I came to this country and I said, the sessions are 3 hours long. They said, no way, our bladder capacity is only 1.5 hours. We need a break, otherwise we can't do it. Well, after the second day, nobody asked for a break, that's a different matter. But first day when they come, they say, no. This looks tyrannical, 3 hours, no toilet. Why did they build so many if we cannot go and use it? Toilets are not built for you to use it by choice. When the body's compulsions demand, we use it. But when the compulsive cycles are too short, then this keeps you busy all the time. Eating, toilet, relieving yourself endlessly, this will keep you busy. But once a certain ailment, a pain or something manifests in the body, it will keep you 100% busy. So keeping it well is not about showing it off to somebody, how my body is. Keeping it well is, it's not in your way, it's not an impediment, it's a platform upon which you can stand. The same goes for the mental structure, and mental structures, which I know many people will start an argument on this, but your mental structure and your physical structures are very connected. If you keep your physical structure and the cycles in the body at a certain level of stability, psychological stability is a kind of a consequence. Well, people will argue because they think mind is a separate world by itself. Yes, their mind is, because it's a separate mind, it's a separate world, it's not here. But your brain is also body, isn't it? And today you know, if you have psychological problems, you don't inject something into your head, you put a pill in your stomach and it works. So obviously, physiological stability, the chemical stability in the body is vital for how your mind is. So the important thing is your body and your mind should not become an impediment. Especially for one who is focused on something beyond that, he doesn't want his body to come in the way. So sannyasis are wearing clothes which are washed in soil, because the best way to make the body stable is to be connected to the earth. Today, various quasi-sciences are coming up and they say people are sleeping with a copper wire attached to their big toe and earth it in the ground and all kinds of things. All you have to do is, maybe in this country, in this kind of weather, you cannot really walk barefoot all over the place, but at least indoors you walk barefoot. At least indoors, that's not really earth, so much is in between you and earth, but at least there, because still there is a benefit. So this is like earth covering yourself, because your clothing has the quality of the earth and it connects you in so many ways. Keeps your body aside and you're always conscious that your body is a part of this earth. So even when death comes, you don't have a great amount of struggle because you know anyway it was a part of this always. But in your head you can imagine things just to stop that imagination. So, does skin color impact my spirituality? As I said, that is a very racist question. But now anyway you ask, so why should I miss the opportunity? This is the best skin color. If you want to be spiritual, you must burn yourself to this, otherwise you're not going to make it. So based on skin color, will you get there or not? It's like that. The other day, 2 days ago, I was driving out near Fall Creek Fall, and two guys, little soaked up in mud, and they suddenly came out of the forest. They had parked their truck somewhere close by, and they came towards the truck. Then I saw they were carrying crossbow. They had arrows and a crossbow. So they're hunters. When I looked at them, the first thing, the way they were soaked in earth, because they've been lying there somewhere, and previous night there has been rains in the area, so they're all kind of a little damp with that. It reminded me of my days in the forest. Well, I never took a crossbow because I had no intention of hunting, but just being in the forest. After a week, these guys were out just for a couple of hours or maybe a few hours. I was out there for weeks. When I came back, soil was everywhere, You had to come and clean your ears, your nostrils and everything because earth will soak into you. But they had crossbows. Let's say these two guys, next time they went hunting in the month of December, they got lost. The game warden had told them, when you get lost, don't worry. You get lost in the mountains, don't worry, just fire 3 shots in the air. I will come and find you. So they got lost and they fired 3 shots. Nothing happened. They left another 15 minutes, fired 3 more. Nothing happened. Another 15 minutes, they fired 3 more. Nothing happened. And they got desperate. Then one guy said, I have only 3 arrows left. So, if you're looking at your skin color and thinking whether you will get enlightened or not, well, you're really not even going skin deep, This is the color of the skin is not even skin deep, It's too much surface. Don't stay there. You need to get a little deeper. One meaning of hatha, which we've already looked at, means tenacity, to reshape the body, in a way, to re-engineer the whole system in a very fundamental way, takes a certain level of tenacity. This is not even for God, because it seems he took a holiday on Sunday. Yes. Shiva didn't, but from where you come, most of you, God took a break on Sunday. So he is not a Hatha yogi, he cannot. Hatha yogi has a tenacity, there is no Sunday, Monday for him. He's on and on. Because if you don't do that, you cannot recreate a body which has already become an adult. This is recreating the body. Means, first time your body has been created largely from an information that has come from your parentage. What memory their bodies carried, what was one, two come together, and a more complex memory system is formed every time a child is born. So the shape of the body, the tone of how your system is, everything largely shaped from this memory. Now, if you are in a certain way, there are ways to do this. We can actually set up long-term experiments if somebody is willing to fund and do, we can show. Right now you trace back, let's say, 5 generations ago, my great-grandfather, great-great-great-grandfather was a great guy. He was very intelligent, very physically fit and capable of many things. I want to become like him. We can do certain type of yoga so that we are able to largely take that part of the memory in your system. Maybe your father was a weak man, you don't want to be like him, you want to be like your great-great-grandfather. There are certain types of yogas to identify that memory and activate that memory to the maximum. That will not be the only one, but that will dominate. So yogic system looked at it this way, or another way is, generally the yogic system follows this. When the Saptarishis sat in front of Adiyogi, their only aspiration was, they wanted to become like him. They were not interested in fathers and grandfathers. So he said, we'll obliterate every other memory and you work on this. So the first step even today, people who take sannyas take is, there are certain processes to distance yourself from your genetic memory which comes from elsewhere. Because a little distance suddenly allows so much flexibility in the system. But if you take away the genetic memory, if you successfully alienate yourself from the genetic memory, you must be very conscious to reshape yourself the way you want. You must have the necessary sadhana. Otherwise, no memory, no consciousness, this will go… People may die soon. It's possible. If one distances himself from his genetic memory and does not do the necessary work that is needed to rebuild the system, his system may collapse within a certain period of time because it's the memory that is in the genetic substance which holds the body in a certain level of integrity. Why one person's body seems to be much more integrated than another, naturally, is essentially because of the type of memory that they carry. So in Hatha Yoga, we are not trying to, at least at this stage of doing things, we are not trying to distance from the genetic memory, we are trying to take the best that is there in us. There may be all kinds of people. Let's say if you look back last 25 generations, the family tree, if you look at it, if you look at the immediately previous generation, you are only concerned with 2 people, your father and your mother. But if you look little further, there are 150 guys who are contributing to your memory. Now, all these people, we don't know what kind of people they are. Some might have been very strong, some weak, some diseased, some healthy, some very focused, some all over the place. There could be all kinds of people in this tree. From what do you draw is an important thing, or how to draw the best from all this is an important thing. Hatha means, ha means sun, tha means moon. To draw directly from our parentage, essentially our parentage is sun and moon and planet, these are the 3. The planet is the womb, sun and moon in some way are impregnating and this is happening. If there is no sun, there would be no life. If there is no moon, life wouldn't be the way it is right now, it would be probably some other way. So these three dimensions are playing an important role. So one aspect of hatha is to keep our parentage aside. My father, my grandfather, all these people, you keep them aside because ultimately all their lineage goes to sun and moon. You want to draw straight from that. That is what hatha yoga means. You bring such a balance that this intermediate transmission is lost and you draw directly from that as life was made. On the way, so much corruption has happened through millions of generations. You want to eliminate that and you want to draw straight from your father and mother. Sun is seen as the father, moon is seen as the mother. As we have been many times looking at this, our mothers have had the eligibility to become our mothers only because they were synchronized with the cycles of the moon. Otherwise, they would not be eligible to become our mothers. They could bear children only because of that. So, to directly associate with the original mother and the father, in between, in yoga we say in between is all corruption. All mix up, genetic and other memories, all kinds of things happened. Some might have been good, some might have been bad, all kinds of mixtures, we don't have control over that. So to draw directly from Ha and Ta, that is the sun and the moon. So, the nature of hatha yoga is to gradually connect with the sun and the moon, rather than you must check this after 2.5 years of practice. Sounds too long? Every day, 2.5 years if you practice, if you simply close your eyes like this, you must be able to say, what face of moon is today? Because it's so manifest in your system. A hatha yogi, if he closes his eyes, he must be able to say, what face of moon? There are other aspects of the sun one can know, which is more complex. But at least the moon phases one must know within himself. This is completely absent in people. That means totally disaligned with the original source of our physical manifestation. So physical is important if you want to do things in the world. If you just want to realize yourself and leave your body, there are other ways to do it. Simply like this we can have you pop, but don't do it in the ashram, okay? If it is just a question of realization, it can be done in so many ways. You want to be realized and you want to live powerfully, then hatha becomes an important aspect. There is common sense, there is sense, and there is something beyond sense. With common sense, your survival process gets handled. You don't have to be brilliant, you just have common sense. You will survive pretty good. You could turn out quite street smart. Actually, if somebody very intelligent is walking down the street, let's say Albert Einstein is walking down the street, a street urchin can easily con him. Albert Einstein doesn't have the wily nature of the one who's walking the streets every day. Very easily you can deceive him. You may have enormous intelligence about something else. So, because the street kid has more common sense is restricted to a certain habitat, and that habitat it works. In another place, your common sense doesn't work. You heard of the ISRO? They've sent a Mars probe now at 10% of the cost what NASA would do normally. Because it's all indigenous and they build it up in their own ways. So they were interviewing people to be taken in for a job in ISRO. Shankaran Pillai applied. He is very street smart, a lot of common sense. So the interviewer asked, which is closer, moon or Mumbai? They're in Bangalore. Shankaran Pillai looked up in the sky and I said, moon. He said, what? How do you say that? He said, well, I can see the moon, I can't see Mumbai. So, this kind of sense goes well in certain things. But if you want to transcend, you need a different kind of sense. This kind of sense is good on the survival mode. When you're on a survival mode on the street, this kind of sense works pretty good. If we try to go all over with this kind of sense, we'll become one big mess. So going beyond one's senses and knowing, why is it needed? It's not needed if you're thinking in terms of a need. If you're using the word need as whether it is necessary for my survival or not, it's not needed. But unfortunately, if you had come here as a chimpanzee, it's definitely not needed. But your tragedy is you have evolved into a human being, wanting to live like a chimpanzee. Doesn't work. That's the whole problem. Human intelligence and awareness has come to a place where it cannot limit itself to the ambit of survival, it has to. Look, now what we're doing as a solution for this problem is not a problem, it's a possibility. Every possibility, those who are not willing to take on the possibility, for them it seems like a problem. It's a phenomenal possibility, but most human beings are treating it like a problem. So how they're solving the problem is, raise the bar of survival, keep on raising it. What was your idea of survival 25 years ago? What was your idea of survival 15 years ago? What is your idea of survival today? It's raising the bar, isn't it? 2 meals a day was survival when you didn't have anything. If you have known that such a state, it's good to know those things. But now, maybe Mercedes is survival. In every different segment of society, survival has been raised to a place where billionaires are still struggling to survive among their community. Yes? I have had this opportunity at close quarters to see multi-billionaires, but they're still beggars. Every day, their mentality, their mindset is just that of a beggar who sits on the street and thinking, okay, what is today? How many more pennies can I gather? It's the same stuff. It's just the numbers have increased, but the experience of life is still the same. Because you raise the bar of survival. Now, your whole life, it doesn't matter what you do, still goes in survival. Everybody, I won't fix this for you. In your life, you must fix it. How much is survival? You must fix it somewhere, now. Not after 25 years when you get there, no. Now we must fix, this is my survival, then what do I want to do? My survival is taken care of, what is it that really matters to me in my life? Whatever that is. If we don't structure our lives like this, forever you will be fighting with phantoms. Why I'm saying you're fighting with phantoms is, in other countries, where the bar of survival has not been raised so high, people can change the course of their life when they wish. I find in the most affluent nation on the planet, Everybody is enslaved for 30 years minimum. Their house loan is for 30 years, car loan is for 5 years, another thing is something, their insurance, this. They just fixed. Tomorrow morning if they find something really compelling that they want to do, they cannot do, they can only do it after 30 years. We did not come to affluence for this. The idea of affluence is you have the freedom to change the course of your life, do what you want to do. You don't have to be stuck with what you thought was the best thing when you were 20. At 20, you may think this is the best thing. At 40, the damn thing means nothing. If still the same things mean a lot to you, that means you're stuck. You're not growing, isn't it? A whole lot of people are stuck at 14, not even 20. Same things. Still they're excited about somebody's body part, they're still very excited about… It's ridiculous. When you're 14, you were excited, I understand. You're 45, 50, 60, you're still in the same bin. It's a tragic way to live, because essence of life is that we are able to explore as much as we can when we live here, to know and experience everything possible that is there in this life.
Well, if you made it here, it shows you're ready to change. You're done with running. This kind of attention is rare, it's precious. Drop your city in the comments, and if you'd like, share this with someone who's also thirsty for clarity. Thank you, Big Hug, and see you soon.